I am tracking an extreme winter storm that is unfolding right now, and I need to tell you that conditions are rapidly deteriorating across a massive portion of the United States. What we are witnessing is not just another winter weather event. This is an unprecedented storm system that combines up to 2 feet of snow with more than 1 inch of destructive ice accumulation. And the most dangerous aspect is how these hazards are overlapping simultaneously from Texas all the way to the East Coast. The storm spans over 2,000 miles and represents one of the largest winter weather events I have tracked in my career, with multiple waves of precipitation that will reinforce each other over the coming days. I have been analyzing the latest data, and this storm will impact over 100 million people with conditions that will persist for days, creating increasingly hazardous travel, widespread power outages, and infrastructure damage that could last weeks or even months in the hardest hit areas. States of emergency have already been declared in 20 states including Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York, New Jersey, Ohio, and Delaware. Officials are bracing for impacts unlike anything we have seen in years, and I can tell you from my analysis that this preparation is absolutely warranted. Right now, over the next several hours, I am tracking heavy freezing rain that continues to impact northern Mississippi and northwest Alabama, particularly near Florence. If you are in Nashville, you are currently experiencing snow, but I need to prepare you for a transition that is coming. By later this afternoon and into the evening, freezing rain and sleet will move northward into Tennessee. Most areas across Tennessee will be dealing with freezing rain and sleet by this evening, which means dangerous travel conditions are developing rapidly. Freezing rain is continuing across North Texas, northern Louisiana, and central Arkansas. The activity is scattered right now, especially in central Arkansas where it is not very heavy yet, but I want to emphasize that tonight is when this becomes much more widespread and dangerous. By 10 o'clock tonight, we will have a widespread area of snow stretching from Virginia all the way back into the Texas Panhandle. Oklahoma City is going to experience some of the most intense conditions with snow rates approaching 3 inches per hour, accompanied by winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour that will create near whiteout conditions and make travel essentially impossible. These will be very intense and heavy snow bands that will create extremely hazardous travel conditions across the entire region. I am also tracking light to moderate snow that will impact Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and northern Kentucky tonight. Cities like Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, and Louisville need to prepare for deteriorating conditions through the overnight hours. But the most concerning development is what happens overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, because this is when the most intense freezing rain event will unfold. If you are in Dallas, Fort Worth, Lufkin, Texas, or Shreveport, these are the areas that will be hit hardest by freezing rain. This is where I am anticipating scattered, numerous, and in some cases widespread power outages that could last days, possibly even a week. In rare cases where we see over 1 inch of ice accumulation, power could be out for as long as a month. As we move into Sunday morning, the widespread area of snow will stretch from Maryland, including Washington, D.C., throughout Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana. Indianapolis and Columbus are likely to see over 8 inches of snowfall just on Sunday from this winter storm. I am expecting widespread snow across St. Louis and Springfield, Missouri throughout Sunday morning, with temperatures dropping rapidly from the 30s into the teens, making any melted snow refreeze instantly. Road conditions will become treacherous as the storm progresses. Dallas-Fort Worth will be transitioning from freezing rain and sleet into heavier snow. The snow duration will not be very long, but there will be at least some light accumulation. Later Sunday morning, Houston, Texas will transition into freezing rain. The freezing rain near Lufkin and Nacogdoches, Texas will be long-lasting, and I expect around a 1/4 inch of ice accumulation in those locations. Central Louisiana near Alexandria could experience ice storm conditions during Sunday morning hours. All across central and northern Mississippi, we will be dealing with a large area of freezing rain that will lead to significant ice accumulation. Sunday afternoon represents where this storm becomes very significant for the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic regions. A widespread swath of snow will cover southern New England, including the New York City area, State College, Pennsylvania, and Philadelphia. I am tracking a transition from snow to sleet in areas like Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Delaware. As we progress into Sunday afternoon, the freezing line will continue lifting northward, which means Washington, D.C. will transition from snow to sleet and eventually to freezing rain. We are expecting around 1/10 to 1/4 inch of ice accumulation in these locations. The Carolinas Carolinas, including upstate South Carolina, will experience pockets of heavy freezing rain, which means significant ice accumulation is expected not just tonight, but also tomorrow. This will lead to isolated and scattered power outages across the region. Heavy snow will continue Sunday afternoon and evening across Ohio, Pennsylvania, and southern New England, where I am anticipating widespread 1-foot snowfall totals with some locations exceeding 18 inches. Wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour will create significant drifting and reduce visibility to near zero at times. Cities like Boston, Providence, and Hartford should prepare for blizzard conditions that will make emergency response extremely difficult. By late Sunday night and early Monday morning, most of the snow will be moving out of New England, with very light snow remaining across central and southern New England for Monday. The worst of this winter storm is today into tonight. I want to emphasize that this first wave we are experiencing in the Ohio Valley is not nearly as significant as what we will see overnight tonight once this winter storm becomes very large across the United States. For total snowfall accumulation, I am expecting widespread 1-foot totals from Oklahoma City to Tulsa. St. Louis will likely receive 8 to 12 inches of snow. Evansville, Cincinnati, and Columbus are all expecting at least 8 to 12 inches. Chicago and Detroit are looking at lighter amounts, maybe 1 to 2 inches. Dallas, Fort Worth will likely only receive 1 to 2 inches total. Little Rock is on the lower end of snowfall expectations since most of their precipitation has already occurred, and they will primarily see sleet and freezing rain with perhaps a brief transition to snow tomorrow. Along the East Coast and Ohio Valley, this is where the most significant snow will fall. Columbus and Cleveland, Ohio will receive 10 to 15 inches of snowfall. Near Cincinnati, I could see 15 to 18 inches in some isolated locations. Evansville will see significant accumulation as well, around 12 to 14 inches. Southern New England and southeastern New York could have locations approaching 18 to 21 inches of snow by Sunday night and early Monday. This will be one of the worst winter storms southern New England has experienced in several years. The ice accumulation forecast is the most concerning aspect of this storm. I am expecting widespread 1-inch plus ice accumulation in southwestern Tennessee and near Tupelo, where some spots could see upwards of 1.5 inches of ice accumulation. This level of ice loading will snap power lines, topple trees, and destroy infrastructure on a scale that we rarely see. The weight of this ice will create catastrophic power outages lasting weeks, and in very rare cases, some areas could be without power for up to a month. A large area will see 3/4 of an inch of ice or more stretching from Nashville, Tennessee to Monroe, Louisiana, extending into eastern Kentucky and central Louisiana near Alexandria. We are expecting at least 1/2 inch of ice accumulation across this region, which means scattered to numerous power outages are possible. Central and southern Kentucky could see localized areas approaching 3/4 of an inch of ice. In the Carolinas, a cold air damming event will occur, creating very significant ice accumulation, especially in the Appalachian Mountains, where isolated locations could exceed 1 inch of freezing rain. Northeast of Atlanta near Gainesville, we will see significant ice accumulation as well. Behind this winter storm on Sunday, some areas will experience normal rainfall from Texas to Tennessee. But I am very concerned about what happens next because temperatures will rapidly drop, creating a flash freeze scenario. Wind chills will plummet to dangerous levels, reaching -20 to -30 degrees across much of the affected region. Houston, southern Mississippi, and areas near New Orleans will experience this flash freeze where any remaining liquid water on roadways could create black ice and general ice accumulation. This is why areas near the Gulf Coast are under winter weather advisories. Even if you are not under a winter weather advisory, exercise extreme caution Monday morning because temperatures will drop into the 20s and teens as far south as the Gulf Coast, creating extremely dangerous conditions not just from the cold, but from ice risk. For impact assessment, areas where extreme impacts are possible include northern Mississippi, southwestern Tennessee, and western North Carolina in higher elevations. These are the same areas that were severely impacted by Hurricane Helene, and these locations could see power outages lasting weeks, or in some cases months. Major travel impacts and isolated to scattered power outages are expected across the Carolinas, Atlanta, Georgia, and down toward Houston, Texas. Minor to moderate impacts are expected across the remaining affected areas. This represents the last opportunity to prepare for this historic winter storm. Ensure you have adequate food, water, medications, and backup power sources ready. Charge all electronic devices and have battery-powered radios available. The combination of heavy snow and destructive ice accumulation occurring simultaneously across such a vast area creates a dangerous situation that will have long-lasting impacts across the southern half of the country. I have been tracking severe weather for years, and the scale and duration of this event sets it apart from typical winter storms. The infrastructure damage potential, particularly in areas prone to ice accumulation, cannot be overstated.